Was pumping gas when I scrolled past a trending local post. I want to bring my side chick over, but my wife's schedule is all over the place. How do I not get caught? Someone replied, been there. I've got 2 parking spots at home. Whenever I'm hooking up, I park my car sideways across both spots. When my wife gets home and can't park, she calls me to move it. While I'm heading down, my girl sneaks out. Been doing this for 6 months, never got caught. The comments were hyping him up, and the original poster even liked the reply. I never post online, but I couldn't help myself. You guys are trash. But when I got home, my husband's car was parked sideways across both our spots. My husband Alexander never parked like that. He was always careful, never crossing the lines. Seeing his car like this, I hit the brakes hard. That post I just read flashed through my mind. It had to be a coincidence, right? Alexander was known for being a devoted husband. We dated for 5 years, been married for 7 years total. He was thoughtful and caring, always treating me like I was precious. He never let me cook or do housework. Knowing how much I loved driving, he'd even gotten me a Porsche for my birthday and bought the parking spot right next to his. Every time we parked, he'd always scoot his car over to his side, leaving me an extra 8 inches of space. How could a guy who loved me that much possibly cheat on me? But I couldn't shake that post. I stared at his car for a long time before making a decision. I didn't call him to move it. Instead, I drove to a guest spot nearby, parked, and walked home. I wanted to see if there really was a cheating husband inside, waiting for my call. At the front door, I quietly pulled out my key and opened it as silently as I could. Once inside, I went straight to the bedroom. The door was half open. I peeked through empty. I checked the guest room. Empty. The study, bathroom, balcony, even the storage closet, I checked everywhere. Every room was quiet. No one there. Where was Alexander? Just as I was trying to figure it out, the kitchen door opened. Alexander came out wearing an apron, holding a dish. When he saw me, he looked surprised. You're home early. He quickly set the dish on the table and smiled. I was gonna make a few more dishes before you got off work. Didn't think you'd be home this soon. I'm not done yet. I glanced at the kitchen. Chopped vegetables sat on the cutting board, and my favorite soup was simmering on the stove. He'd clearly been cooking for a while. I relaxed a little and smiled. It was slow at the office, so I left early. Alexander nodded. Go rest for a bit. I'll finish up the last couple dishes. He went back to cooking. Watching him, I couldn't help asking, why'd you park sideways today? He looked back at me, a little embarrassed. I was worried you'd be hungry when you got home, so I rushed upstairs to start cooking. Didn't even think about parking properly, just left it and ran up. His explanation made sense. Every day when I got home, dinner was always ready. Alexander was a surgeon with a crazy schedule, but he always made time to cook for me. Sometimes I'd tell him to take it easy, but he'd always say, you've got a weak stomach. When you get hungry, you get shaky and lightheaded. We can't mess around with that. I need to make sure you've got hot food the second you walk in. Nothing gets in the way of that. After a while, dinner was ready, all my favorites. He served me rice and was about to sit down when his phone rang. He answered, frowning, got it. I'll be right there. He quickly took off his apron. Emergency surgery. I'm the only one who can do it. Gotta go. He grabbed his keys, kissed my forehead, and rushed out. The door closed, and the house went silent. I sat at the table staring at the food, but I wasn't hungry anymore. That post was stuck in my head like a splinter I couldn't get out. Alexander's story checked out, but something still felt off. I put down my chopsticks and walked into the bedroom like I was in a trance. Everything was spotless. He'd made the bed perfectly. Nothing looked wrong, but the neater everything was, the more uneasy I felt. I started searching. The bed smelled fine. Nothing out of place. Even the trash can was clean. Everything was normal. Was I just being paranoid? I shook my head and turned to leave, but something caught my eye under the bed. My heart dropped. I crouched down and pulled it out. An earring. And I don't have pierced ears. It belonged to another woman. I stood there frozen, staring at it. Then I grabbed my phone and found that post again. Sure enough, the original poster had just replied 1 minute ago. I parked like you said, but my wife didn't call. She just came straight in. If I hadn't heard her opening the door and hidden my girl in time, I would have been busted. The commenter replied, sounds like your wife's pretty sharp. The poster said, yeah, made up an excuse and bounced. Driving her home right now. Alexander really was cheating on me, and he'd brought her into our home. My hands were shaking as I put my phone away and walked out of the bedroom. I looked at the food on the table and my heart ached. Alexander remembered everything I liked. He remembered that I got shaky when I was hungry. He remembered I loved his goodbye kisses, but he forgot how much I hated betrayal. How ironic. A person can act so loving while bringing another woman into your home. I couldn't help wondering, how much of the love I'd been so proud of was real, how much was fake, and when did it start with her? I sat there trying to calm down, then suddenly remembered something. I immediately called my parents and asked them to come over. They could tell something was wrong and rushed over. What's going on? Grace? Why the emergency? I told them everything. After hearing it, my dad couldn't believe it. Grace? Could this be a misunderstanding? Everyone can see how good Alexander is to you. Plus, you know his job. He's a surgeon, on call 24/7. Maybe it really was an emergency? That post? Could it just be a coincidence? But my mom slammed her hand on the table. No way. This is too many coincidences. The post says park sideways, and he parked sideways. Grace doesn't call and walks in, and the post says the exact same thing happened. The post says he slipped out to take his mistress home, and Alexander made up an excuse to leave. Plus, there's a random earring in the house. How is this a coincidence? My dad frowned. But Alexander has always put Grace first all these years. My mom scoffed. So what? Just because he's been good to her means he can't be cheating now? Every cheater acts perfectly normal at home. The better they act, the more convincing the performance. My dad had nothing to say. My mom got angrier. That Alexander. When he was chasing Grace, he knelt outside our door for 3 days straight, swearing he'd treat her right. That's the only reason I let her marry him. And now, 2 years of marriage and he's already bringing his side chick home? Unbelievable. My mom was furious. But I mostly felt confused. Like my dad said, Alexander really had been good to me all these years. He was young, successful, good-looking. There was never a shortage of women throwing themselves at him. Even the hospital director's daughter had openly gone after him. She'd even said publicly that if Alexander would be with her, she'd give him the whole hospital. But Alexander never gave in. He even ticked her off so much he almost got blacklisted from medicine. Through all of that, he stayed loyal, telling me, I can lose everything, but I can't lose you, because I'd really felt how much he loved me. I couldn't understand what kind of woman could make someone like Alexander, who treated loyalty like a religion, change. Grace, what do you want to do? My dad looked at me seriously. I paused, then said firmly, I want to catch them red-handed. My mom perked up. How? I didn't answer. I looked down at my phone and opened an app I'd never used, a location tracker. Alexander had insisted on putting a tracker on his phone so I could always find him. He said it was for my peace of mind. I'd said no at first, I trusted him, and I didn't think couples needed that, but he insisted, saying it was just a safety net. If anything ever happened to him, I could find him right away. All these years, I'd been proud that I'd never once opened this app. I never thought I'd be using it to catch him cheating. I took a deep breath and opened it. After a few seconds, a map loaded. A green dot was moving slowly across the screen. My dad looked surprised. That's Alexander's live location? I nodded. My mom said impatiently, let's go, right now. I want to see what kind of woman could make Alexander do this. My dad said nothing, just grabbed his keys and headed for the door. We all got in his car. On the way, my mom kept going, I thought Alexander really loved you. Never imagined he could cook for you while bringing women home. In all my 50-something years, I've never seen anything this disgusting. If he didn't love you anymore and asked for a divorce, I'd be angry, but I'd respect it. But instead, he's playing you for a fool. If I catch him with another woman today, I'm tearing them both apart. My mom's eyes were red with anger. When Alexander was pursuing me, she'd been against it. She didn't think his family background was good enough for me. It was only after he knelt at our door for 3 days that she gave in. My dad drove in silence. I saw his furrowed brow in the content rearview mirror. I couldn't tell what he was thinking. After about 20 minutes, Alexander's location stopped moving. I told my dad to hurry. We stopped near his location. When we got there, I spotted Alexander's car parked in front of a villa. I jumped out and headed straight for it. But I didn't notice that my parents' faces had gone pale when they saw the place. Seeing me walking toward it, my dad got out and blocked me. Grace, are you sure Alexander brought that woman here? His expression was strange. I sensed something was off. What's wrong, Dad? Do you know this place? He opened his mouth, but said nothing. Then my mom caught up. She glanced at the villa, swallowed hard, and said nervously, Grace, let's go back. Stop looking into this. I stared at her in disbelief. What? You were the one who wanted to come here. You were the one who insisted on catching them. Now they're right inside, and you're telling me to stop? She didn't answer. She just grabbed my arm, her voice breaking. Grace, I'm begging you. Let's just go home. Let's just let this go, okay? My dad stepped forward too, his face serious. Grace, listen to your mother. Let's go. We're doing this for your own good. I was completely lost. I couldn't understand why my parents, who'd been so ready to fight for me, suddenly changed after seeing this villa. Was something wrong with the place, or with the person inside? I couldn't hold back my curiosity anymore. I ignored them, rushed to the door, and knocked. It opened quickly. The moment it did, I saw Alexander standing inside and the woman behind him. The second I saw her face, my eyes went wide. And